From where you like. Live. Okay, let me do this too.
Welcome.
Okay. Welcome everybody. We're going to welcome Rav Dror back to a wonderful hostess, Cynthia Gomez house. Thank you for having us, Cynthia. This is part of an organization. It's a like embryonic little thing that we created, but we get some really wonderful people and great speakers and teachers called the Kabbalah Experience. You can find us at the KabbalahExperience.com and Emunah.com. Rav Dror does this totally voluntarily, so we ask you if you can, if you are going to be affected or touched or learn something, which you definitely are, to donate. I usually recommend people say, what do you, $20 to $1,000, maybe that. But start whatever you have. Rav Dror appreciates it. He has a big family, he has a big house that he rents, a lot of expenses. So whatever you could do would be great, and thank you everyone for coming. And this is going to continue for the next 3 weeks. God willing, there'll be no snow. We could deal with cold weather. It's not a problem. And without further ado, Rav Dror.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Shalom Aleichem. Thank you so much. Very important for me, first of all, to explain about this concept of Kabbalah. What are we looking for? Like, there are so many books that have been written on this topic of Kabbalah, and so many people that are named Kabbalistics, so-called, and there are many lanes, many streams, many options of ways how to learn Kabbalah and to investigate and try to understand. But generally, we're talking about the back end of this world's program. We're talking about an inner code, the secret behind the curtains of creation. Now, also to the behind the curtains, there are many aspects. There are aspects that are techniques, there are codes, there are numbers, numeral values, letters, combinations of letters. There are like many details, like structure. And there is also a spirit to the behind the curtain. There is also the will of heaven and the reason and purpose of why to create the world in its shape and built in its form. Now, many people can find themselves relate to the secret and to the hidden information and to the knowledge that been transformed and passed from one generation to the next in whispers, and like they will find it very interesting. They will find it also needed for them for their lives. But the real question is, what is waking up this inner desire of ours of us to investigate, to go and learn, and to seek for deep secrets, for the pnimiyut, for the insights of Torah, of this code, beyond the matrix, like we say in our days. So I wanted to say, first of all, that really when we are talking about concept of Kabbalah, the meaning of the word Kabbalah is something that we receive. Kabbalah means to receive. In the holy ancient language of Hebrew, Kabbalah means acceptance, to receive something, to accept something, to get it from a higher source, from someone divine, from the Creator Himself. Now, what are we receiving? We're receiving something that is completing us, or else we wouldn't seek for that. Inside of us, there is an inner desire for that truth, to find the answer, to find the solution, to find the completion of our task. And you don't need to convince a thirsty person to seek for water. It's a natural thing. He knows exactly what he needs. A hungry person will walk right into the kitchen. Like, you don't need to tell him, choose between the living room or the refrigerator when he's hungry. He knows his way. The nose, he knows. Now we are seeking for secret. We're seeking for truth. Why? Because inside of us we lack of that secret. We need it. Therefore, we're going to ask for it. We need to understand. The Zohar HaKadosh is saying that the whole concept of tshuva, that the person is coming back to the truth, the meaning of the word tshuva, it's to come back to a place that you were there before. It's a comeback. It's not a search for an answer. You're not looking for an answer. You had a question, you missed something, you were there once and you missed it and you lost it and it went, and now you're looking for yours. You're looking for your answer, you're looking for your sparks, you're looking for yourself. The Creator made the creation in a fantastic way. He built and created it in such a way that He created a certain lacking in the world, and inside of us a similar one. And we're recognizing with our eyes and with our senses the inner lacking of our souls, that they are really hinting us on spiritual lackings of heaven's kingship. Means that the Creator Himself sent us to this world, and in the world He created a certain reality that we need to fix, but He's waking us up from within, from inside, to work on those things. Means a person can find himself crossing the street and hundreds of people will walk in front of him and he won't pay attention to none of them. But he will pay attention to a little kid that walks with yellow sneakers or to a little girl that walks with a red coat. Something will catch his eye. A tall person, a heavy person, a dark-skinned person, a white-skinned person. Something will catch his eyes. Why? Because in his mind, there is something that is being aroused by that person, that woke up by that person. That person is waking you up to something that already lives inside of you. You're asking yourself, do I know him? Is it her? Is it someone? Okay, what is he doing? Like you're already involved in that situation in a way. Now, how all those things happen, that's Kabbalah. Behind the scene, all the links and the ties and the connections and the bondings of all those situations that can seem to us as coincidence, that's Kabbalah. That is what that we received from our ancestors as a gift, as a blessing, to know that it is all the Creator's will, that it's all behind the scene being run by the Almighty. And there's a code, and there's a method, and there's a way to recognize it and to work with it, to cooperate, to get into that stream, into that flow, and to flow in harmony in our reality, instead of fighting and struggling and hating and blaming and suffering from every situation. So, first of all, we need to know that if we want to learn the secret of Torah, so the secret of Torah is something that you can learn in an external way. You can come to a lecture, you can open a book, you can see a video, you can go and expand your knowledge, you can work with your eyes, with your hands, and to bring it in. But in the same time, you must know about yourselves that it is really only reflecting an ancient knowledge that is already installed inside of you. It's already built and carved inside of you. So when someone speaks, let's say now I'm talking to you, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, his words make sense. What does it mean it makes sense? It means that it relates to your way of thinking. You recognize the logic of my speech in your mind. It relates to your way of thinking. It's reminding you of who you are, and that's why you relate to it. So sometimes we relate to positive things that we are welcoming, that we're willing to accept, and sometimes we relate to certain things that we realize, okay, I need to reject that. This is not a good thing for me. I already been burnt by that thing once, and I know that I recognize the danger, and I rather to stay away from it or to fight against it or whatever. But again, those things that takes place in life takes place in an external way, but in the same time they are happening in pnimiyut, inside of our minds, in the back of our heart, in the back of our minds, in the back of our heads. And over there in the connection of the soul, the connection of your spirit with your reality, means in the level of your awareness, that's where you meet God. That's where you meet Hashem. That's where you can connect your spirituality to your physicality. That's where you connect to faith. That's when you become a believer. Now, to learn the science of Kabbalah, this is not something that I'm doing. I'm not willing to do. I'm probably never going to do that. It's not my thing at all. I am much more into teaching you how to live your life with the tools that you're achieving, that you're gaining by learning Kabbalah in life. I want you to learn how to use the tools of Kabbalah practically in your life. So for an example, there is a name of the Creator, one of the names, and that name is name called Ein Sof. Ein Sof is endless, it's infinity, and those are one of the names of the Creator. When you call Hashem Ein Sof, so you call Him, the Creator, in a name that means infinity, but like in English, when you say endless, you're using two words that actually contradict the result of the word, of the meaning. You want to say endless, and you say end, that it's the opposite of endless, and less is for sure less than endless. It's less. So also in Hebrew, when you say, in the holy language, Lashon HaKodesh, when you say En Sof, so En is, you don't have it, it's empty, you don't. Sof, it's end, like it's the end. So you don't have it, and it's the end, and the completion of those two stones, those two words that you built now together, express the opposite, infinity. And that's exactly like we explained, that you have your physical world, the external world, the outside, the houses, the apartments, the doors, the people, the stores, the products. It's nothing. For you, like it can be poison. It can reject you. You can hate it. You can vomit. You can't stand it anymore. It's like it's blocking you. It's surrounding you. And even when you desire something and it's pleasuring you, in the end of the day, you find yourself empty from that pleasure and lack from that pleasure, and you look for another thing, and you're always suffering in this physical world. And in the opposite side, you have the spirituality, the spiritual, the mind, the spiritual aspect of your life, your mind, your connection to your soul, that can be very uplifting, that sometimes can be very inspiring, but in the same time, you can find yourself that you're asking and doubting yourself, am I playing with air? Like, am I hallucinating? Am I dreaming? Like, what am I doing? Am I really progressing? Have I achieved something? Or I'm just like thinking, like, well, I'm just like swimming in the sea of my imaginations. Like, who knows what really happens in heaven's court? Like, do I worth something? Did I earn something? Have I achieved something? Or I'm just like reading to myself and like, what am I doing? You don't have a grab in that. You don't have a hold in spirituality. You can't feel it. You can't measure it. You can't count it. You can't estimate it. You don't know. It's hidden. It's spiritual. It's beyond. So, in the intersection, in the connection spot, in that point that your physical reality and your spiritual reality, they meet, in that place, you become again a believer. That's the place of Kabbalah. That's the place of understanding the connection between your inner world to the outside world. To understand that your thoughts can really make changes in the world. To understand that your learning can really improve the face of the universe, that you are useful, and to recognize it in the world, and not only in your dreams or in your hopes or in your imagination. In reality, the way to do it, the way to connect it, the way to live life of pnimiyut. How do you say pnimiyut? Like there is no word for that? Internal, like, but how are you gonna?
Pnimi is internal.
Yes, yes. That. But how you say life of pnimiyut? Chaim shel pnimiyut. Internal life? No. So we're gonna call it pnimiyut. Okay. So for a person now really to connect himself, he needs to also use and connect himself to the physical world, means to reality. You cannot start like separating yourself from the world and not talking to people and to walk away, to be weird and different. First of all, you want to keep your relationship and your connections and to be able to function in society. And in the second aspect of it, you don't want to deny your inner world and to erase it. You want to find a way to express both. You want your spirituality to get into your physicality, that it will affect it, that it will water your plants, that it will create prosperity, blessing, will bring blessing into your life. The way to do it, it's first of all to be awake, means sober to reality, connected to reality, really to be awake, really to pay attention to the details, to work on your level of awareness, and in the same time to be aware to your inside world, that it means to believe in yourself. It means to give yourself a chance. It means to allow yourself to dream. It means to allow yourself to flow and to count on your power of imagination, that we're very fast to doubt, we're very fast to disqualify our thoughts because of our low self-esteem, broken self-esteem. A real believer, a real person of truth, a real person that is connected to spirituality is a person that is able to flow with his spirit, with his emotions, with his feelings. And then you need to combine. You need to connect. If you have a certain feeling, if you have a certain thought, if you go with a certain wave, in a certain mood in your mind, and you're thinking about something, and then something takes place in reality, you need to make the link, you need to make the connection, you need to relate those things. If you were nervous, if you were angry, if you were under a lot of pressure and something happened, a friend asked me a couple of days ago, I saw a car accident while I was driving. What does it mean? Okay, that's the first step. Really to ask yourself, where was I in my mind when that car accident took place? Like, what was it reflecting to me from the outside world to my inner world? Where was I? Was I negative? Was I fighting? Was I dreaming on something foreign? Maybe on something wrong? Or maybe I was dreaming. Maybe it woke me up in a way. Like, what happened to me? We need to investigate our minds. We need to reconnect ourselves to the real reality of our thoughts, of our feelings, and we need to dissect it. We need to connect it to the reality, what happens in the outside world. Now, why am I saying that this is Kabbalah? What's the connection between recognizing the supervision of the Creator to Kabbalah? This is faith. Okay, a believer, he goes with faith and he sees that it's all Hashem and he understands the signs. What's the connection to Kabbalah? Because Kabbalah, even though that it been explained and been opened for us by many righteous people that wrote many books, still those people that open those pages on pages of knowledge and pure information that is expressing and delivering the truth of reality, the secret and purpose of Hashem's will in His creation in the world, still who were those people? They were people of faith. If they wouldn't be strong believers like Abram, like Isaac, like Jacob, if they wouldn't be also shepherds and humble people and generous people, nice and kind people, and also people that are strong and protecting their families and their friends and ready to fight for justice and spreading faith and distributing light in the world, they wouldn't have the merit that the secret and the essence and purpose of creation will be revealed to them in visions in the nights, in prophecies, in being those ones that will continue that legacy of holiness and to pass it to the next generation. They wouldn't become those chosen ones to inherit the inside pnimiyut wisdom of the Creator. So first of all, we must understand that the way of the land, that the derech eretz, that the way we behave, the way we live our life is a basic need for our learning. It's something that if you don't have that, you won't really ever connect yourself to the purpose of learning Kabbalah. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but it won't work for you. You can, if a person is evil, if a person is corrupted, if a person is bad, mean, selfish, whatever, and he is learning Kabbalah, so with those tools, he is destroying the world. He is erasing purity. He is blocking the light of Hashem by dealing it. It's like to clean the windows with filthy hands. You can think that that's what you do, but in the end of the day, when you will, you made all the moves, and you also put soap, and you had everything was perfect. You took all the tools, but your hands are filthy. You will see your fingerprints on the windows. You're going to see the failure. It won't come out clean. So a person that is negative, that is evil, that is bad, that is selfish, that is ignorant from all the good qualities of his spirit, he's blind from all those treasures that have been treasured inside of him in the secret of his creation. If he will go and mess up with Kabbalah and will learn and will try to use those holy names and of course also to go and to teach other people, he will affect in a very negative way. He will block the light from those people and he won't help them to progress and to achieve real achievements in that learning. And this is why it's so important to connect ourselves first of all to reality, to the truth. Now, in reality, we must understand the way of our creation is fantastic, is so deep and so meaningful. The Creator, He created Adam and Eve. In the beginning, before of time, the ideal idea of the Creator of how to create man and woman was in a similar way to the Creator, means that they were not supposed to multiply, to come to breed like people that are like animals in that aspect. In the secret of creation, in the first stage of creation, man and Eve, Adam v'Chava, came down to the world in one unit, in one form. They were male and female together, and they were not about to mate, like the Creator. they came down in perfection. Now, after they came down to the world in that perfection, in a complete way, because that Adam saw the rest of the animals, all the species, and he saw them separated to male and female, because of that default of him seeing them together, because of that, he found himself empty from that, lacking from that he didn't have a wife. Even though that they were one, the fact that he saw a different world surrounding him, world of animals, because of that, he felt a certain lacking. So the Creator helped him in a way. It was not an uplifting help. It was more of a rejection, but still needed one. All the story of creation is a story that is showing to us, that is reflecting to us a separation from the Creator and hoping for a great ending, for a comeback to spirituality, fixing all the husks, climbing back up from all the darkness and from all the attachments to physicality. But in reality, our connection of coming down to this world was a downgrading process. We have Yeridat Hadorot. The generations are falling. And the first generation, Adam and Eve, had the worst failure and the worst falling as a result of that. And it started before even their rejection, exiled from heaven. Already in heaven they fail. Already in heaven they went to lower and lower levels in every step of the way. And now we need to understand, how can it be that it's helping us? How can it be that all those rejections, how can it be that all the obstacles, all the difficulties that are happening to us in our lives, they're building us in the end of the day? It's written on King Shlomo, Hamelech Shlomo, Solomon, that he was the wisest one, Chacham Ba'adam, the wisest person ever created in the world. And we know that he had the power to control the devil. In his generation, the minister of all demons was under his control. And he had a ring with a 5-star, 5-angle star carved on his ring. And with that ring, Tabat HaChotam, the ring, the seal, ring of seal ring, I don't know how you say that.
Signet.
What?
Signet.
No, seal like chotam, like a signature. Seal. A seal.
Stamp.
Yeah, a
Stamp, seal,
But how you say it with the ring? The ring.
signet.
Signet ring.
How?
Signet.
No, that makes it harder. So he had that ring, means that it was in his power to control the dark forces. He was so wise that he was aware and knowledge about the language of all animals and all trees and plants. He was so wise that he could understand the spirits. He could connect and communicate with stones, with mountains, with the wind. He had that wisdom. Now, on him it's written that he wanted to have a crown. Now, all those tales that we're hearing about the righteous people are supposed to arouse our mind to understand, what are we talking about? Which crown? Was he looking for a golden crown? Was it that physical crown? What was he looking for? So King Solomon wanted to have a crown, but he wanted the crown to represent his pnimiut, his character, his insight. So what was the message that he wanted to reflect with his crown? The connection between the wisdom to nature. That was his will. He was a person that appreciates nature. He was a person that could relate to animals, talking to them, to plantings, to trees, whatever. He was a man of nature in a way, but in the same time, he was also a genius. He knew all the languages and he knows all about astronomy, the stars, the weather, the way of the land, how the things are all science. Like he knew everything for sure. Kabbalah, everything he knew, all the secrets, everything was revealed to him. He was the wisest person on earth ever been created. Now, he is walking out to the forest, to the field, to find an inspiration for his crown. That's what the Midrash is telling us. And when he went out, he's looking at flowers. He's looking at flowers to pick for himself the right crown. And he saw all the flowers were showing off themselves to him. Like we know that when Hashem wanted to pick the right mountain to deliver the Torah, to give the Torah on the back of that mountain, so all the mountains in the area were pushing themselves. We are worthy. I am the best mountain. I'm the highest mountain. I'm the strongest mountain. I'm the most beautiful mountain. Everyone tried to present themselves. And the only mountain that was 100% sure that there is no option that he will be the chosen one was the one that the Creator chose. That was Mount Sinai. He was the only mountain that didn't even, that thought never crossed his mind that he will even like fit into the contest, not me, like me for sure not. Okay, you've been chosen. So exactly in a similar way, King Solomon is walking in the field, in the forest to look for an inspiration for his crown. And all the beautiful flowers are showing themselves with their leaves, and one is saying, look how beautiful I am, and look at my colors, and look at my shapes, and whatever, everyone. And he does not accept any one of those as a source of inspiration. And the sun is coming, and it's evening already, and it became darker, and he felt disappointed, and he felt lonely in his task, and he didn't know what to do. But he said, I'm going to continue to search for the right crown. And then he saw, now I'm going to need another help with my Google translator is not with me. How you say rakefet? Are you able to find, to check rakefet? No phone, Google Translator.
Describe it.
One day. Hebrew, rakefet. Yes. Okay, now I need someone to read it. I don't know if it's right. Is it the name of a flower? A purple one? Cyclamen. Yes, it's a beautiful one.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Cyclamen.
And suddenly he saw between the boulders, between the stones, one flower that was bright blue and looked like a crown. Cyclamen was his name, Rakefet, and he was hiding. He was bending his head like that not to be recognized. He didn't want it to be found. He didn't want it to be used as the crown of King Solomon. So he was hiding himself like that. That's the nature of that flower. He was hiding himself between the rocks, and his color is bright purple. If you know that flower, so its bottom is white and very bright, and in the end of it, it looks like a heart with a very bright purple shiny color fit to the crown of the king. And King Solomon chose that flower and told his people to design the crown in the shape of that flower. So you see that connection between the wisdom of the person to the natural passion that's been given to him by the Creator. When he has a question, when he's confronting something, when he knows how to take himself to the field, the place that he will feel calm and relaxed. He knows how to take himself to do his job. Even though that he's such a genius and he can sit and calculate and bring numbers and to measure and to count and to design and to prepare. But sometimes you need to let go of all your wisdoms and to try to see the supervision of the Creator. And the supervision of the Creator can come and open your eyes and heal your mind in the time of darkness, in the time of despair, in a moment that you are lack of an answer. And also it can hide itself between the rocks, between the obstacles, between the difficulties. Suddenly you're going to recognize a bright light that will be that bright light that will shine your life. And every person should have that belief in himself that he is also worthy, that he is also able to serve, that he is also able to find those treasures that are treasured for him in his journey, in his lifetime. And you don't need to be the most righteous, the purest one, the one that knows it all. You don't need to know and memorize all the books by heart to have great achievements. Because the Creator created the world in a way that the knowledge and the potential to achieve huge greatness will be offered to every individual with no connection to his gender, to the source of his nation, to his family, to his legacy, to his tradition. Like Elijah the prophet is telling us in the book Pirkei de Rabbi Eliyahu, Pirkei de Tana de Eliyahu. Thank you. I'm learning Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer right now, so in my mind, Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer. Tana de Eliyahu. Elijah the prophet is telling us that he brought earth, heaven and earth, to make that testament, to make that oath, that it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, a slave or a free person, a Jew or a Gentile. The divine spirit will hover on you corresponding to the greatness of your actions, of your good deeds. It depends in that. It not depends in which family you're related to, from which branch you came out to the world from. It not depends in that. The holy things that we're inheriting in spirituality are not coming to us in tradition. They're not being given to us by our rabbis, by our teachers. Our rabbis, our teachers, our parents, they are able to give us a certain knowledge, a physical knowledge. They can teach us for hours, and if you will dedicate yourself to that learning, you can learn a lot. You can achieve a lot if you're learning from the right ones. But the fact that you sat for thousands of hours and saw and heard and learned classes from a certain rabbi won't bring you necessarily to the level that you desired or to the highest that was offered to you, the potential that was offered to you. You're not necessarily going to achieve the top. Why? Because in the end of the day, you will gain only as much as you're going to invest. Only if you're going to sacrifice, only if you're really going to desire, only if you will work with a passionate heart, with an inner desire to achieve, only if you're going to work on your truthfulness, to be a loyal person, to be a righteous person, only if you're going to work on your attributes, you're going to build the vessel to contain the knowledge. Tons of knowledge can pass through you, and they're getting from one ear and going from the next. Sometimes a person can sit for years and learn, so-called learn, and in reality, in the end of the day, you're talking to a stone, you're talking to a wood, you're talking to an ignorant person that doesn't have no common sense, doesn't have no manners, no understanding in the real will of heaven. Just like a donkey that is carrying books from one place to the other. That's not the will of heaven. The will of heaven is that we will build those spiritual vessels to contain the bounty. Now, when you are doing that, you are a vessel to connect yourself to the highest secrets of them all. But for that, you need to give yourself a chance. Because for an example, in a prayer, if a person now wants to pray the prayer like the methods of the Mikubalim, So now you have Sidurim, Sidur's books, that have been written by Mekubalim. You have Sidur HaRashash, Sidur HaArizal. You have many Sidurim that have been written with that combination, with the numeral values, with the first letters, with with all the additions that Mekubalim mentioned and wrote that you should aim, that you should think, that you should bring into your thoughts while praying. You can read from those books, but not to understand what you're saying. It can actually, might even take the simple, basic, needed intention of the meaning of the word while trying to aim those high intentions. Like you have books of in Sidurim, in the Sidur's books, you try to learn, you have certain words in the middle of the blessing when you need to say, Baruch Atah Hashem, Rofei Chole Amo Yisrael. You want to say a blessing, there is certain meaning to that blessing. When you say the word Rofei, now you need to review pages. You need to start reading names of Havaya, names of Hashem, Yud Kei Vav Kei in this combination and those letters. And why did you print all those letters? Because they represent something. Okay, great, but I can't understand that. Okay, because you're holding the wrong Siddur. It doesn't fit for you. The Rashash HaKadosh, when he was praying, all that intention was in his mind. He was aware to all this spiritual structure, all the way that the light is coming from one name to the next and going lower and lower down to our world, to earth. He knew that structure. When he mentioned the name Hashem, he was thinking about the way that the world are going down. He saw the light coming down the steps, the floors, from all 10 sfirot, from the top one to the lowest one. And he had all those things in his mind, so he could aim those combinations while he was praying. But for you, if you now going to hold this Siddur, in the middle while you're saying Baruch Atah Hashem, and now you need to review and read and see and put your eyes on all those letters, on all those holy names, you're going to forget in which blessing you're at. You can find yourself that you don't know if you're in Rofei Chole Amo Yisrael, or if you're just now about to say Ga'al Yisrael, or if, where am I? In the prayer, I'm in the middle of a blessing. It cannot be that the Kabbalistic intention will take you out from sanity, from being normal, from being attached to the simple intention of prayer, of learning, of communicating with people. It's not supposed to be that way. But, so you're going to say to yourself, okay, so am I lost? So because that I cannot read so fast, because I'm not so knowledgeable, because I'm not so wise, not so talented, not so gifted, so now I'm blocked from spirituality, I don't have a chance? The clear answer is no. The real solution for you is to stop looking at what other people are doing or trying to do or pretending to do, and to try to find your own Kabbalistic connection, your inner connection to the secret, to the essence of life. And then you will find yourself that while you are blessing that blessing, you're saying, Rofei Chole Amo Yisrael, suddenly you're going to have a certain intention. Suddenly a certain combination of those first letters or last letters or I don't know what will come and will be seen to your inner eyes, to the eyes of your mind. And suddenly you're going to find yourself aiming the right intentions that are fitting to your spiritual level, to your location, to your level, to your spiritual level, to your role and mission in life. And then you're going to please heaven. Then you're going to bring down bounty. Then you're going to succeed in your spiritual work, and you're not going to fail from tiredness and frustration from not achieving high levels. The real high levels are installed hidden inside of you. And you need to connect yourself to the voice that is talking to you from inside and hinting you to achieve the insight of your soul, finding your inner connection to the Creator from within. Relate and connect your mind, your soul, your spiritual aspect, your feelings, your emotions, your senses to the outside world of reality that might be fake reality sometimes, but still represent, reflect the message that the Creator wants to show us. And we need to communicate. We need to combine those two worlds. We need to create the bridge between physicality to spirituality in every situation, in every conversation, every time we come to learn, every time we eat. To remind ourselves that that food is not just food. Those are not only fibers. It's not only a fruit with peel. It's deeper than that. It's a creation. It's built and designed with letters. It has a spiritual structure. Except of the atoms and all the things that are running inside of it, there is also a spiritual aspect to it. Also, the atoms are physical. There is an inner layer, a deeper layer, and that's the layer that you can find with the power of your mind. Only with the power of your mind. Only if you will give your power of imagination a chance, if you're going to believe in yourself, that while you're eating, that while you're about to take a bite from that juicy apple, and suddenly you think a certain intention, don't criticize that intention. Flow with your intention. Believe in the inner voice of your soul that is hinting you from within and sending you to have a certain work with that apple, except of just enjoying its flavor, its juice, its taste. Also to have a certain intention. Which intention? The one that the Rashash HaKadosh was talking about when he said how to say the blessing of Borei Peri Ha'etz? Not necessarily. Maybe you can use your soul in a way that will benefit more, that will be more useful for you. Maybe you can also go and sit and learn the books of the Rashash HaKadosh. Maybe you can learn Zohar with Perush Baal HaSulam and to be inspired. But after you've been inspired, after you took that knowledge and brought it in, now you need to process it. Now you need to work with it. Sometimes it will come out to the surface and sometimes it will stay hidden. Sometimes it will appear and you will find a way to use it, and sometimes you're going to have to use your thoughts and your skills and your imaginations, that your imaginations can become pure and holy and be used in a useful way, in a productive way. We're not supposed to disqualify our imaginations. The thoughts that are crossing our minds, the feelings and the sights that we see in the eyes of our minds, they can become a tool that is close to prophecy. Sometimes you can enjoy inner messages that are coming from within in a way that will save lives of people. Many times people are coming to me and asking me very deep questions about their lives, and I'm listening to my inner voice. I'm putting my ear to listen what Hashem is telling me. And then I have a certain thought, and I'm expressing that thought to the ears of the person that just opened his heart with me, and I'm sharing my thoughts with him, and he finds the connection, and he feels relate to my words, and it makes sense for him. Why? Because I'm such a genius? No, I'm just listening. I just let the Creator express Himself to me. Before I'm jumping to say, yes, no, don't do it, I read in that book. I'm not fast to quote, I'm not fast to answer, to reject, to give my opinion. First of all, I listen. A person is talking to me, I hear, I listen. And then I listen to my thoughts, to the reactions that are taking place in my mind. I try to understand what Hashem is processing, is moving in my mind, why that person came to me, because I might have an answer for him. I listen. I listen to the voice of my heart. I try to understand what Hashem is telling me. How can I help him? I must say that in most, I would say 100%, but in most of the situations when people asking me a question and I wait and I don't reply fast and I listen, I'm aiming to the right answer. And they are going with the right answer. And again, it's not because of me. It's because I'm doing the right thing. If you will listen when someone asks you something, if there is a situation, you came to a meeting, someone is talking, you are in a struggle, you're in a situation in life, some problem, I don't know what. In that situation, if you will wait for a second and you will breathe and you will just ask yourself, okay, what am I supposed to do right now? If, let's say, I would be righteous, what would be my choice? If I would try to do Hashem's will, what would be the decision that I would make? If you would just give that moment for thinking, you will see that you will come to the right conclusion, to the right answer. Because when you thought that thought, when you gave place to Hashem to reveal Himself to you, then in that moment the blessing is already yours. Because you let Him in, because you called Him into your life. But when you're fast to react, when you're fast to answer, when you work out of your pressure, or out of your desires, or out of your fears, no matter how you work, but you're not working based on your connection to reality, to the fact that the Creator, He is life and exists with you. And He's talking to you through the walls, through the curtains, through the situations. It's Him that is talking to you and reflecting His light to you. When you're disconnected from that, in your mind, you cannot fix. But when you are connecting to it, no matter in which level you are at, you can fix and you can make wonders in the world, and you can bring out to the surface the real diamonds and treasures that have been treasured by the Creator inside all families on earth, all human race, all people. Underground and inside our bodies, there are treasures that are very valuable, that are precious inside each and every one of us. And the Creator lives inside of us. And we need to give ourselves a chance to believe in ourselves that we are also servants, that we are also children of the Creator, that we're also soldiers in His army. Even if you look like you look, even if you think that you look like you think that you look, even with your low self-esteem that you're judging yourself and criticizing yourself, all those things are nonsense. And the only evidence for that is that you don't have a clue what was the color of the face and the skin of Abram, and what was the height of Sarah, and you don't know if Rachel Imenu, she was fat or skinny, you don't know if she was blonde or brunette, and it's not important also. That's why it's never been revealed to us. Because it doesn't matter anything. You don't know if that person was handsome and if he wasn't. You don't know anything about no one. And you're just thinking about yourself all those thoughts because the evil inclination already took you away from reality, that you have a mission and that you're capable of passing it and succeeding big time. And He's just breaking your self-esteem for you to give up before time, before completing your mission. And you can succeed if you will just ignore the evil inclination, and if you will just pull yourself closer and closer to the truth and to Hashem, to the Creator. You will just swim on that wave, and you will just go faster and faster on the highway. But because that we're listening to the negativity, to the foreign thoughts, to the evil inclination, all the time, no, I'm not able, and me, I don't have a chance, and there's no way I'm going to make it. And you're cutting your branches. You're blocking your own way. So that's it for tonight. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Rav Dror. Once again, if anyone would like to donate, please feel free to give as much or little. If you only have $5, that's fine. If you have 10, 20, that's fantastic. And once again, we'll continue for the next 3 weeks here.